Welcome to Bursting Through Storytelling. I'm Steve Peterson, the originator of Bursting Through, and I'll also be moderating today's story. The goal of a Bursting Through story is to share something authentic and pure. The stories are told using two different voices, one gay and one straight, each reflecting on the same experience or time frame. The stories are an act of generosity and love from everyday people who live their lives with authenticity. The stories will show us a deeper understanding of our special relationship and hopefully leave us all a little better for having heard it. Today we're joined by two women, Lori and Paula, who have been friends for nearly 30 years, which is amazing because as you can see, neither of them look a day over 30. I understand they met at the public swimming pool when Paula bought Lori a lolly, and they've been friends ever since. Legend has it that they used to roller skate all around their small Midwestern rural town that they grew up in, no doubt, sporting feathered hair and faux satin jackets. Lori and Paula, both married men post high school. Lori had 2 children, divorced, and remarried. Paula had 3 children, divorced her husband, came out, and is now married to a woman. Ladies, welcome to Bursting Through. Thanks for being here.
Hey,
Hi, Steve.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, of course. All right, we're going to get right into it. Paula, this first question's for you. So, what was the first emotion you experienced when you found the courage to say that you were gay? And this is totally different than the first time you knew internally.
Right. I had mixed feelings of relief. You know, there was obviously a little bit of fear in there, but mostly relief to finally let the people that in my life, let the people that I know and love who I really was. To just finally originally be myself. Yeah.
So, to finally be authentic and, relief is a great word. I mean, you've been carrying around this burden for a long time.
Absolutely.
It's secret. I mean, not, burden might be the wrong word, but secret for a long time.
Yes.
So, a lot of relief. All right. So fearful of life on the other side. Would that be fair?
Oh, absolutely fearful. You don't know. I was fairly confident that my family would still support me and be in my life and love me no matter what and all of those things. But there was certainly a fear of, the possibility of losing some friendships. Not everybody is as open-minded or, has that love is love feeling.
Yeah. And you just can't, as a gay person, and speaking from my personal experience, you can't be prepared to take this step without being prepared for a certain amount of loss.
Exactly.
You hope it doesn't come, but you have to be prepared for it.
Exactly. Correct.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go to Lori here. So Lori, what was your first emotion when you were confronted by the fact that Paula was gay? What were the emotions you felt after the shock, perhaps?
Well, I got called by Paula's ex-husband, and so I was kind of thrown off. I was worried about her. I was worried about the kids. I just really wanted to reach out to her and talk to her and see how she was.
Wow. Okay, so didn't know that. Totally didn't know that. So finding out this information from Paula's now ex-husband is likely not the way Paula would have wanted to handle it.
No, absolutely not. He kind of stole my thunder.
That's a really interesting part of the story. I mean, because it's like, Lori, you get a call one day from your friend's husband saying she left me or she's with a woman, and it's like, okay, and you're not hearing the information. It's shocking information to begin with, but you're certainly not hearing it from firsthand.
Right.
Okay, all right. So, so your first emotion was one of concern, though. But but he totally cut you off guard. Okay, so to Paula, then it's like, I just want to know, how had you planned on telling Lori, and how do you feel about your ex-husband coming in and doing that for you?
Well, obviously it hurt and it made me really angry. Um, it's my story.
Yeah,
He was just a part of it. He was just a chapter.
sure.
And I certainly did not expect to tell Lori over the phone.
Right.
That's not really a good way to have that conversation.
Yeah.
In person and not so straightforward, maybe is how I would have prepared it better.
I think that's fair. I mean, yeah, and honestly, I don't think it's an over the phone conversation in general, but certainly not the length of your guys' friendship. It wouldn't be
Right.
the phone conversation. At minimum, it would be hopefully lunch or maybe a beer.
Right.
you know.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So I'm going to go back to Lori now. So, Lori, what made it okay for you that Paula was gay? I mean, you'd known her most of your life one way, and now that had changed. There had to be some adjustment for you. At minimum, change is difficult and uncomfortable. So, what was your process of acceptance?
I I just our friendship is not based like I have never loved her because of her sexuality. So I just wanted to talk to her and to let her know that nothing was changing, that we were good.
Yeah, and I think you had mentioned previously too that because Paula had some bad experiences in past relationships, that
Right.
also, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. She had some bad experiences, and so I guess I just thought she needed love. She needed to be respected, and I just felt that's she was going to that. Um,
Okay, so
it didn't matter
what?
if it was male or female. She needed that in her life at this time.
So she needed, as her friend, part of you accepting that she was gay was just the fact that it's like you had witnessed that she needed to be loved and respected in the way that you thought she should be,
Right.
in a way differently than what she had been.
Right. Right.
And it didn't matter to you whether that came from a male or a female.
Not at all.
Okay, I think that's fair, and that's a really cool answer. So, but would it also be fair to say that one of your first thoughts was, is she really gay, or did she just find a good female friend? Or
Yeah, I just from her past experiences, I thought maybe it was kind of a phase because of how she had been treated and the things that had happened. And so at first I thought maybe it's just something that she's going.
okay,
But at
so
that time I hadn't really talked to her yet.
right. So still, at this point in the story, you still hadn't talked to Paul.
Right, right.
Which, okay, that sets the stage a little bit. So, Paula, what do you think about what Lori just said? I mean, do you think there was a period of adjustment and a process of acceptance for her?
Oh, absolutely. Like I totally understand, her thinking that it was a phase because, I hid who I really was from every single person in my life. She had no reason to think, uh, she really had no reason to think differently. But, it was easier for me to understand where she was coming from because she knew me so well and she knew the point in my marriage with my ex where, he wanted to bring somebody else into the bedroom and, that I wasn't afraid of that. So she had to know that there was some kind of interest there, but that yes, it possibly could just be a phase.
Okay, yeah. So here's like another layer to the story. So to catch the audience up, Paula told me this previously that when she was married to her now ex-husband, when they met, they were quite young and he was a virgin. And when you guys were having, and correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, when you guys were having some marital problems, one of the solutions was that he wanted to be with another woman.
Correct.
So what came from that is that you guys ended up having a three-way, two women and him.
Right.
And so he was kind of thinking, I'm king of the bedroom. And in reality, it bringing another woman into your relationship pretty kind of sparked something in you that probably couldn't be put back. The genie couldn't be put back in the bottle. And that kind of backfired on him.
Oh, it totally backfired on him. And it's something I don't know if he's even put together yet today. Like, I don't even think he realizes, like you said, let the genie out of the bottle, so to speak.
Yeah, so that's just another layer to the story. And I just want to point out that when I first talked to you guys about telling your story, neither of you thought you had one. You clearly do. All right. So next question is to Lori. As you look back on this experience, on this phase of your relationship, what surprised you about this time frame? Good, bad, ugly, or beautiful?
I think our relationship is probably the best it has ever been in our lives. We're both in really good relationships. We're completely open and honest with each other. And yeah, it's amazing, our relationship. We're great.
So it's stronger.
It's way stronger than it's ever been. Absolutely.
Wow, and that had to be a surprise. I'm surprised to hear that. I mean, I guess on some level I am, on another level I'm not. But
Yeah. No, I think we just kept on going. It wasn't nothing. Who we
right.
have such, wasn't going to change anything like that.
All right. So because of the experience in your friendship previously and the love you had in other parts of your life, it just combined to make your relationship stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you think of that, Paula? And what do you think when you look back on this time frame? What surprised you about your relationship?
Well, I think the thing that surprised me the most is, like Lori said, I think we are stronger than we've ever been. I guess, it's really the only secret I've ever kept from her. And I think, the fact that we are in very loving, very healthy, we're where we were meant to be. I think in the relationships that we're in, it just strengthened our friendship even more. It just made it that much more everything stronger, better, whatever word you want to use.
That's really awesome. And I love the way that question played out. And I love how Lori immediately went to stronger and better, and what I also think is interesting is that an already really strong relationship got stronger because no matter how much you loved each other, it's like, Paula, you were holding back a big secret, and so therefore not being truthful.
Right.
And so the fact that you finally shed that secret broke down that last wall between you two. So
yep.
In many ways, when you break it down that way, it's like, well, of course it's stronger now because there was that wall, whether you guys realized it or not.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Right on. All right. So, Paula, throwing it to you.
Okay.
How has Lori met your expectations of what a friend is?
Oh, you and your hard questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
The great thing about Lori is that she has just hasn't stopped being her. You know, her first thing was, well, I want to meet her. I want to know who she is. I can see how happy you are, and she welcomed Terry, my now wife, in with nothing but love, respect. Just grabbed her in and made her a part of the fold.
Right.
And it, like, she didn't even hesitate.
Yeah. So totally didn't miss a beat. Right? It's like Lori didn't miss a beat.
Not one beat. Not one beat was missed.
And it's kind of a time that you probably would have found it acceptable if she would have missed a beat or two before she got back on page.
Right. I think I can count Lori in there with my close family, that I didn't think I would lose her completely. But yeah, it totally would have been acceptable for her to back away a little bit and need to digest.
Yeah.
But she didn't, not once.
So meeting those expectations because no beat was missed. And, I just know personally, because the audience doesn't know, but I know you guys, and I know as a friend, Lori's not one to miss a beat. He's a good friend. However, in this circumstance and this formidable piece of your life, and when you were at this vulnerable place, with fear and uncertainty, even though it was freeing for you, it became even more important to you that Lori didn't miss a beat.
Absolutely.
All right.
Very well said.
All right. So, Lori, I'm throwing the same question to you. How has Paula met your expectation of what a friend is?
Paula is way beyond a friend right now after all these years. We're family. But, she's constantly here for me. It doesn't matter if we talk once every 6 months or every week. She's always here for me. So she's pretty honest. She tells me everything I need to know and hear and don't want to hear. And I think that's kind of crazy after all these years that we can still be this way.
Yeah. Is she not only, that friend, and I know you mentioned the word family, but it's like that kind of that big sister you never had? Would you go that far?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I've never thought about that way. She's always protected me like a big sister. So
yeah. I
want to know what you're talking about, Lori. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, we'll save that for another show. All right. Because I'm afraid where that might go. All right. So last question, and then we're going to wrap this up. So Paula, if this was your last conversation with Lori, what would you want to say?
The first thing that comes to my head is thank you. Not just for being my friend, but for loving me always, no matter what. I'm a better person for having you in my life. And you are an amazing mother, an amazing wife. You're a great sister, daughter. There's just nothing bad about you. And thank you for supporting me and loving me and not turning away from me and always being you. I love you.
Love you.
Wow. All right. Now, Lori, I'm going to ask you the same question, but if you can't answer, we'll leave it with tears of joy, which I hope is what those are.
Those are joy.
Okay.
This question just kicks me in the butt because I just can't imagine my life without her. So,
well, at this point, then we are going to leave this conversation with happy tears and not forcing you into thinking about that. All right. Okay. So I just want to say it's awesome that we're going to leave this today. with tears of joy and love.